Welcome back to the Two Luckies podcast, where we continue our series on Dyin
Cryin
and
Lyin.
So this time around, we're going to be talking about episode 2, if you're following the series, of Little House on the Prairie. And this one's entitled Country Girls. So let's kick it off.
Let's kick it off. We start with the dog that is ill-suited to the environment, drinking out of some water that they use for everything. They bathe in it, they cook with it, they do everything in this little stream that's by the house. And here's the dog, meh, 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 over there.
Oh.
What's Pa doing?
Pa's standing over there in the field, and he's got a bucket beside him. It looked like he might have been milking a cow, maybe.
Maybe
And you hear
not.
him calling the dog over. Come here. Dog runs over, and then here he is, scritching and scratching him and playing around with him in the dirt.
And then we come inside to Ma sweating. She's pulling out muffins. She's got Carrie underfoot. She's got 2 kids upstairs trying to get ready for school. And we find out that one of them has a problem.
Yes, Laura did not want to go to school, and she stayed in bed and pulled the cover over her head. I don't want to go, Mary.
So, of course, Pa comes in with the bucket and pours it out like he never cleaned a thing in his life because he's slopping it all over the place. And he looks at Ma and says, "Where's Laura? Oh, she's she's upstairs. She doesn't want to go to school. I'll take care of it." And enter the smirk.
The smirk, the little flippy lip, the smiling like, see, I can't believe you can't do this. But I'll go up there and I'll talk to her and say, what's the matter there, milk measurement?
Milk measurement, that's what I call her sometimes, because half pint is a measurement of milk. But he comes upstairs, she's under the covers, pulls down the covers to find her and promises her that she will like school, but she thinks that he can't live without her being there helping with the fish traps and everything else.
Yes, because what we think was happening was he was really training her to be the boy that he never had.
Yeah, we really do. The more we watch it back, Mary was she knew how to read. She was being trained to be a teacher or whatever. And Laura was just the boy in girls' clothing for this. And Carrie was just too little to do anything.
Right. So after he does all of that, you go back downstairs, and next thing you know, they're all lined up for the inspection.
The inspection. She's got them standing in age order. They had to have their hands out. She inspected both sides, their fingernails, whether or not the back of their ears were scrubbed. She had them turn around, says that there's no room to let these hems out any longer because their clothes are too short. But she says you're clean and you're fresh, and that's all that matters. And honestly, I feel like that's the first lie.
It kind of reminded me of Full Metal Jacket when they're standing there in the barracks. He's going, trim them.
Yeah, I mean, really,
Toe jam.
She was really inspecting them. And then you already find out that they don't have enough, length in their skirts here. She knows this, and it's kind of important for the rest of it, so keep it in mind. But our first kind of lie is when the kids are saying, what if they don't like, what if nobody likes us? Oh, of course they'll like you.
Yeah.
How do you know that? Lying. I'm calling it
Lying.
lying. I don't care whether you agree with me or not.
It is
because lying. Because really, they were fresh, they were clean, and then she goes into this box under the bed.
The hope chest.
And she pulls out.
She pulls out of the hope chest her old school books. Here you go, from when I was in school.
I mean, really, how long has it been since they've updated these books that her children could use the same books that she had when she was a kid? I mean, I guess information really was slower back then. So we do have to remind you, there is no electricity at this point. It has not been invented. There is no going to a faucet in your house. There is no pressing a button and having the stove turn on. You had to chop wood and make a fire.
Yes, and if you wanted to go to the bathroom, you had to run outside, run up a hill in the back, and go into the outhouse.
Well, that's another thing we noticed. Why were the outhouses always uphill from the... Okay, we're not even going to get into that because,
I digress.
why? But even at the school, the outhouse was uphill. Kind of, yeah. Good idea, bad idea. We're not
anyway,
for it.
So they get outside. They're standing there, and there's Pa. better hurry up. You're going to be late for school.
Well, the first thing I noticed was that he was chopping an empty chopping block because you'd never want your axe to kiss the dirt. It ruins the edge. So here he is going chop. There's no wood anywhere but the chopping block, and he's just chopping something empty just because it looked good in the scene. He probably doesn't even know how to chop wood, but maybe he does because he was on Bonanza, right?
Yes. So here comes the real funny. When they're getting ready and up, you better hurry up or you're going to be late. So they take off for school. And what happens? They're both walking together for maybe 10 feet before Laura turns around and runs back and gives him a big hug.
She gives everybody a big hug like she's never going to see them again. And Mary is trucking up that hill.
She's gone.
She didn't look back for 1 second. She made a beeline. I'm getting out of here. She was getting out of Dodge. Yep. She was out of there.
They pan back and he goes, look, there they go. They're off to school. Mary's like at least 10 lengths ahead of Laura.
I mean, Laura's like stumbling trying to get past her. And the other thing we noticed was they had like a road-like thing coming into their house. The kids come home on it later on in the day, but they went up this massive field. Like, it was like this, and it was so high up. They were practically scaling this thing. Why are you taking that method of getting to school when you had like a road that you could walk on? We still haven't figured that one out.
Right, but anyway, they're off to school, and then lead us into when they get into town.
So we get into, the town is hopping, like things going on. There's more horses that I've ever seen on this show in this episode, and they're in a pen looking like you could rent them.
That was the livery.
The livery. I mean, but they were stocked. They were ready for business. The sawmill is making all kinds of noise. They had a blacksmith. He's pounding away. And it's like a hustle and a bustle when they get there. And then they get there to a very busy schoolyard.
But before they got to the schoolyard, they're walking past the mercantile, and there's Nels out there sweeping the porch, and you can see sweeping the dirt all over Laura.
I mean, he's sweeping it like right into their faces
without even a care.
He's like 2 or 3 steps up from where they are, and where he's sweeping, like you can see the cloud of dirt, and then they had to walk. The poor kids. Like, I feel bad for them. Yeah. I feel bad for them. So now we do have to mention parents are home.
Yes,
parents are home.
Parents are home.
The kids have one lunch bucket between them that Laura has, not Mary. Laura has it. And they're standing there looking at a gaggle of kids that are screaming and yelling and playing together.
Yeah, so they approach the group, which then totally goes silent, to which Laura makes some kind of off-cuff remark about a bunch of...
she made fun of them, how noisy they were.
But she said it in a real farmer-like tone, to which Mary's like giving her a nudge. And right away, what do the kids start doing?
Long-legged snipe,
Long-legged snipe. So that's when we go back. Oh, the kids are going to love you.
Lion. Because she had no way of knowing that. You could say, I hope they like you. I mean, you know, sometimes friendships take time. Nope, she went straight for it. Of course they'll like you. And guess what? Disappointment again, because... Lion. Because no, they did not. Not only did they not like them, pretty much... every kid had a problem with them.
Yeah, so now they're walking into the school, right? They're walking into the school, everybody's sitting down, there's the two of them in the back of the room, and everybody just stops, turns around, and stares at them. And they're standing there like they have icy feet.
Well, because this is a packed classroom. There doesn't look like there's a seat available. The teacher's up front at the blackboard. Everyone goes in and you can tell they have assigned seating. They're in their seats. They're standing back there. No one has greeted them. I mean, honestly, Laura didn't really help it, but they got kind of a chilly reception from the other kids. They got Nellie staring daggers at them, and they're standing there frozen at the back of the room.
Right, so they walk up and the teacher says, well, come in, girls.
So now we're thinking, did she know they were coming? She knew, oh, you're the girls from Plum Creek.
Come in, girls. It says, oh, you must be the two from Plum Creek.
So now we're trying to figure this out because both of them go up there and they have to register. The children have to register with the teacher.
Yes.
She said, oh, I just have to write your names in the book. Hold on a second. First of all, these kids they have Ma's old books, right? They got clothing that's too short for what they're trying to do.
How about this? They've never been to school.
This
is their first experience in a schoolhouse.
So we find out this is literally their first experience. They have no idea what they're supposed to be doing. Everyone else seems to know what they're doing. And the parents don't even seem like they gave them a heads up. I mean, what day of the week is this? Did they just show up in the middle of the week? Like, did they just show up someplace? Like, no one seemed to know they were coming. And it's the middle of the school year, it looks like, or at least school has been in session for a while.
Yeah.
And this is what you get.
So here's where we get to the next funny. They bring up the school books for Ma and says, here, Ma gave us these books. These were her school. Oh, these look great. Looks like she took good care of them. Oh, okay. Do you have a slate?
Nope.
No slate.
Nope.
No, we
Nope.
don't. We don't have one. To which you hear the first snide remark from Nellie: "Country girls."
And hence the title of our episode, Country Girl. She had to be all grouchy about it. I mean,
So here's the teacher. Very nice teacher. And
Yeah.
says, tell you what, you can borrow mine. Borrow
right,
mine.
but the thing is, they can borrow it,
Oh,
but they can't
thank
take
you.
it. They're only able to use it during school. So they were given books. To me, they were completely unprepared, and the parents could have at least walked them into town, one of them, just to make sure that yes, this is where you're going, something.
Oh, and let's not forget too. She did ask them at the beginning when they have to write their names in the ledger. Okay, have you had any schooling? No, ma'am.
Yeah, none.
And then Mary said, well, I know how to read and write. And then Laura sneaks around behind her and says, I don't know how to read, but I know the alphabet. So that just sets the stage for, how much they do know. So great. Ma, you gave books to kids who can't read. At least one kid.
One of them can read, but why is Mary so good at reading? And Laura hadn't even really started at this point.
Because Pa was training her to be a boy.
Yeah, we
farmhand.
really do think so. The boy thing just keeps coming up.
Yeah, so here's the next part of the classroom. She asked Willie to go to the blackboard and do his numbers in 3. So he starts writing on the blackboard, to which Laura announces, excuse me, how's he ever going to get that writing off the board?
Yeah, this is how little they were prepared
To which
for
the
this
whole
environment.
classroom, ha, ha, ha.
Right, so now they're the butt of everybody's joke again. Thank you, Ma and Pa, for sending them so ill-prepared
She
to
picks
school.
up the ruler and slams it on the desk.
She really
Children,
did. She smacked it.
there will be silence in this room. Willie, Laura asked a question. Demonstrate.
Yeah, so he had to demonstrate the answer of how to get the chalk off the blackboard, to which she says, wow, it's clean as a whistle tube. Then they all laugh at them again.
So these kids right away, they're not even there 10 minutes and they're taking a beating. I felt bad for
I
them.
felt bad for them too. Not only that, they were fine with their clothing until everyone else had a comment about it. They felt that their clothes were clean and they were dry and they were dressed, and they felt like that was okay, and then they come into being made fun of.
Right, so let's pick it up from there.
Well, they get back home is what I have. They get
Yep.
back home,
Yep.
and here's Pa smoking a pipe in the house, right? So smoking a pipe tobacco costs money, right? He's got money for
That's
tobacco,
right.
but his kids are wearing clothes that are too short.
He's sitting there going over 3-letter words
Yes,
with Laura.
in the reading book from Ma, she's doing all the at words, cat, hat, sat, whatever.
And I'll ask you one that's not in the book. Rat.
Rat,
With
and then
the
she had
smug
to.
look.
Yeah, but the thing is, you couldn't do the at words with her after school like 2 years ago. I mean, like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, so
you got
then-
time to smoke your pipe though and read the book like you actually need to read it to know these words.
So then the conversations come up. Well, what'd you think of school? Mary, being Mary. Oh, I met this girl there. I think we're going to become best friends. Oh, that's great. Laura, how about you? Well, I can tell you somebody I didn't like is that stinky Nellie Olson. I'd like to slap her in the face. Oh my gosh! You can't say that.
No, she
I'm
got
not
she
gonna
got
hear that.
scolded for it. She got
Yes.
scolded for saying she didn't like something, and then she got told, "Do unto others," which
Right.
gets mentioned again later.
Do unto others. So now we have the next day.
The next day we have a dime. It looks like a dime given. I mean, this is how little money this family has. This is why I was talking about the tobacco. You got money for tobacco, but you can't buy fabric for your kids to have clothes. But he gives them a dime.
He gives him a dime and then says, what? Here's a dime. You can get a slate. Not 2 slates. There's 2 of them. No,
Yeah.
you can get 1 slate and 1 tablet.
One tablet of paper.
Paper.
Right, because the slate, he said the change will be enough to buy 1 paper tablet. So they think, Okay, that'll be great. We're, wow, we got
Great.
all this money and we're
All
going to
right.
go spend it at
So
the
Pa gave
mercantile.
up that dime, and let's not forget going back to the last episode when he made the whole whopping 50 cents for the week and came
Yes.
home and he was
And he was
happy.
Playing
So,
the fiddle while the kids are trying to sleep.
He's laying out big coin here. So anyway, they get to the mercantile, and right away you've got Nellie and Willie in there,
Raiding the
robbing
candy jar.
making fun of them again. Country girls.
I mean, these poor girls, everywhere they go, they're getting made fun of in this episode. Like, it's really kind of sad.
They do what they were told. Here, we need a slate and a paper tablet. I've got right what you need. And Pa said this'll cover it. Well, he's right about that, but what about a pencil?
You're going to need a slate
You're going to need a slate pencil.
So this is a specific thing used to
That's
write on slate that costs a penny, and they only have 10 cents when they needed 11 because I don't know what either one of their parents thought they were going to write on this paper or slate with, but they neglected the pen, whatever this pencil is.
Let's give props to Mr. Olson, okay?
Yeah.
They don't have the penny for it. He was going to be nice enough. Well, I'll tell you what. You just take the slate pencil, and next time your ma or pa's in town, just have them come in. And they can pay for it. And what does Laura say?
Nope. Sorry, sir. We can't do that. Cash on the barrelhead.
That's what Pa always says.
Yes, except in the pilot when he asked for credit when his policy is normally cash on the barrelhead. But we digress because now the kids are left without. They have a slate and they have a paper tablet,
which is useless because they have no
without
way
something
to
write on with it. Like, what do you? I mean, really? Like, are you supposed to prick their fingers to write on this thing? Like, what are you supposed to do here?
Right. So now they're sitting outside the mercantile and go, oh, what are we going to do? We really need a pencil. We can't ask that from Pa. He already gives us so much.
They gave us so much already.
Wait a minute. We have our Christmas penny. We can use that. Oh, time out. Time out for a second. You can't give them a single penny to buy a pencil, but you can get your what? Tobacco?
Your tobacco. He drinks coffee every day. We already know this from just we're on the third episode. We know this. He has sugar, he has pipe tobacco, and he has coffee on a regular basis. But their kids can't have one penny for the slate pencil, and they have clothes that everyone knew were too short before they sent them to school. But oh no, you'll be fine because kids are mean when they're younger.
That's not Dyin Cryin or Lyin, but you know what I'm going to call that? Cheapskate.
Yes, it's cheapskating. So I know we're getting to it. This episode's a little slow to get going, but believe me, they got 2 out of the 3 elements they do.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. So Mary says she's going to give up her penny, which I thought that was really, they get 1 penny a year, these kids, for Christmas. She gives up her penny so she can buy a slate pencil that they can share amongst the 2 children. And Laura said, you can have half of my penny. So they were really cute together. And then we go to the teacher.
Right.
And she's teaching Laura because she said she was going to do it. She was going to tutor Laura every chance she could get. And she was true to her word. She was going to do that. And they're reading a book called Dickie Birdland. And I feel like every word of that book was silent. She's trying to sound out all these words. And she hit every exception rule of the English language in like the first 2 sentences of this book.
Right. And again, I'm watching her with this book, the Dickie Birdland, and every word in it is something that's got a silent letter.
So now we got the teacher. She really is. She worked really hard trying to make sure, she realized that Laura was behind where she would have been had she had been in school. And really, I guess Mary was too,
right,
behind her age group. But Laura needed more help, and she really did. So now we got the teacher working hard. We got Laura sitting around, trying to learn anytime she can. And we come back, and even the dog is over there sitting by that water he was drinking at the beginning of the episode, petting her. The dog is stroking her arm while she's trying to read and write on her own, sitting outside. So, I mean, she really was trying to do this, and the parents are just doing whatever they're doing. So now we get Ring Around the Rosie.
Recess. Yes, they're outside at recess, and here's Nellie leading the group of girls, spinning around in a circle, singing Ring Around the Rosie, just over and over. And then Laura has to say, "Well, can't we play something else? Why do we have to keep playing this?" And because I said so.
Well,
And then they keep going
no,
again.
but the thing is, she said the reason she was participating in all of this was because she was taught do unto others, and because Nellie told all the girls that they had to go around to play Ring Around the Rosie, that's why they had to keep playing this game, because somehow doing unto others was making it so that she was unable to do anything else.
Right.
Like, go do something else if you don't want to do this. No, she had to play with everybody else because this was do unto others.
Right.
So now we get to Mrs. Olsen is angry at what she's heard from her daughter and her son about the Ingalls children.
Right. So here's Ma walks into the mercantile. "Oh, you must be Mrs. Ingalls."
Now, this is something we've been questioning because these are God-fearing people. They go to church. Church has been churching the whole time they've been there. Every Sunday, church has been churching. So now here we go. They've been there for months. They lived on the land while the house was built. You're going to tell me that they only worshiped at home? They didn't walk the whatever miles to go to church when Ma has been so
I think it was about
emphatic
3.5
about
miles
this?
or so. 3.5 miles from the property to town.
Okay,
So-
but the thing is, the Olsens are at church. The Olsens could literally trip and hit this church. The school and church are the same building. They live so close to this place that the Olsens are always at church. So you're going to tell me you didn't even have a passing
Right.
relationship with this person? You just met her fresh right here. I just wanted to put that as
Yeah,
an
so
aside.
anyway, she's in the mercantile, and that's when you meet Mrs. Olson. And she says, "My husband tells me that you buy eggs." Yes, we do.
No, she said that to Mr. Olsen.
Mr. Olson.
And then Mrs. Olsen comes
Right,
out and
right.
says, "I do the egg buying." And she's not being kind. She's actually very aggressive and she's very snobby and snooty about
She looks
it.
at her eggs and says, "Half of these are brown eggs." Well, we spend how much less for...
It's 4 cents less a
4
dozen
cents
for
less
brown
for
eggs.
brown eggs. And she says, "Well, some of these are double yolk."
And she said, nevertheless, they are 4 cents less a dozen.
Yep, so she knows that's a lie because I think she says later as she turned around and saw her sell those same eggs for the same price.
So we find out that this is a lie. Mrs. Olsen told, this is a lion. Mrs.
Lion.
Olsen told a lie because we find out later from Ma that she turned around and sold those brown eggs that she paid less for the same price as she sold the white eggs, because Ma was buying some thread with her money that she had just earned from her egg money.
Yeah.
And heard her selling the brown eggs for the same price.
Right, so she gets home and right away she's pretty upset, and here comes Chaz.
Here he comes. He's got the smirk again. He's lighting the pipe again, saying, "Well, whoa, it's quiet." And she's like, "Oh, the kids are quiet." And he goes, "Oh, I met you." She is over there stabbing her needlepoint like she wants it to die. She ends up, if you watch closely when you look at it, she has a big knot at the end of it by the time
So after
she
she
comes
tells
out.
this whole story about the eggs and this and that, what does Chaz say to her? "Do unto others."
Yes, but
With the
she
smug
insisted
look.
on fighting her own battles because he was going to go in and talk to them about it. And she said, "No, that'll just make it worse. I'm going to fight my own battles." To which he gives her that smirk again. Like, "Oh, poor thing. Okay, you go do that. See how you do." So now we get to our second run of Ring Around the Rosie.
Yes, in this recess. Now Laura's not participating in this. She's standing outside watching the circle going around saying, "I want to play Big John."
Right, and she starts singing a whole nother rhyming song that I guess I've never heard
Nellie
of it
gets
except for on
pissed
the
off,
show.
tells her to stop, pushes her down. Not once, not twice, but
Three
times.
times.
And after the third push, Laura gets back up and shoves her on the ground and says, "You want to fight? We'll fight. You want to play? We're playing Big John." So good for you.
Right, but now we come back and she's telling her parents all about how she didn't do what they said that she to do, and she didn't do unto others. But really, if you think about it, she had been pushed down 3 times, so she kind of did give
Right.
Nellie back what. If you want to go do unto others, when I was a kid,
No.
I would have, believe me, she wouldn't have survived it.
I'm going to give Chaz an attaboy on this one.
Yeah, we got to give him a little something.
Because he listens to this whole thing and says, "Well, you felt like you had good reason, and this one time I tend to agree with you. Now, just make sure you don't do it again." And here we got Ma staring daggers into him.
I mean, yes, staring daggers into
Staring
him. You're too
daggers.
lenient with them.
And now they go upstairs into the loft, and right away she starts talking like they have doors in every corner of the house, and they're speaking in private. And what does she say?
Well, no, well, to remind you first, this isn't big open space. There is a fireplace in the middle. There are no doors in the interior of the house whatsoever. There is a door, one door to the outside, one door to the inside, the only door to the inside and outside, and that's it. So we have all of this going on here, and
So after all that, and she starts telling him, she didn't learn a lesson. You were too easy on her. You should have given it to her. It's so there's Pa, still smug as ever, breaks out the fiddle.
The kids just went to bed. What are you doing with this fiddle?
So we get to the next day.
We get to the next day. Ma's over there with her basket of eggs, and she hands it over. And now we find out that she left all the brown eggs someplace else because...
Yes, because... what did she say? Yes, the guy at the mill across the street's going to pay her 3 cents more.
No, she said her husband already sold the brown eggs to the guys at the
yes.
mill for 3 cents more than you were going to pay me. And Mrs. Olson says, well, why don't you go sell your eggs over? What did she say? Something about...
Well, maybe he'll buy your white eggs too. And she says, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Good day, Miss Olson.
Yeah, Mrs. Olson practically chases her out the door.
On. Well, okay, well, fine. We'll pay you the same for the brown eggs. Now, feeling like she's victorious, hey, I just won that battle. Let me go to these good yard fabrics over here. Yeah, I like this one. Mrs. Olson, oh no, here, she hands her sack material. Farmers have to know their place.
No, and not only that, she says that farmers have to have fabrics that'll wear better. She actually disses her own stuff that she's selling. She's like, it won't wear well, and she keeps trying to throw this sackcloth stuff at her. And then Ma gets highfalutin about it and tosses it over and says, I believe it's customary for the customer to choose. And she buys the most expensive fabric in the place for what?
For one dress length.
For who?
For herself.
For herself.
For
herself. So Pa's got tobacco, right? He's got his coffee every day. They got sugar. Ma's got enough money somehow to buy a whole new dress worth of fabric.
But the kids couldn't. The kids
made fun of for their clothing at school.
The kids couldn't ask for a penny for that slate pencil.
And they had to raid their own 1 penny a year stash over there so they could buy some school supplies.
Yeah, and also we almost skipped over the second part of the lying. Because, see, while she gave her the eggs and there were no brown ones, she was also getting a lecture from Mrs. Olson about how her daughter's a troublemaker. And
right,
then
because...
says, I think Nellie has a different version of the truth.
Yes, Nellie was lying.
Lying.
Why? Because she told the story that was going to make her mother as angry as possible at the Ingalls, and not what actually happened was that she was the one who was pushing Laura down, and Laura pretty much had enough of it and gave her a little of her own medicine.
So now the kids come home from school. They're running, they're happy. Ma, where's Pa? Who instantaneously sticks his head out the top floor of the barn. Hey, I'm right here.
I mean, we were trying to figure out what was he doing that he was able to stick his head out so quickly.
And I say that the door to that loft was closed, so you're not loading hay. You wouldn't have anything up there if you weren't loaded. So what are you doing up there that you're just hanging out by the window? I mean,
was he taking a nap and he heard somebody talking and he just sticks his head out the window?
And that's when they tell him, hey, we're going to have Visitors Day in a week, and you guys are going to be there, and all the parents and all the kids, and we got to write an essay.
And we have to stand up in front of the whole town's going to be there, and everybody has to stand up in front of the whole everybody gathering and give their speeches off of their essays. They have to read their essays out loud.
Right. So now they're working on the essays for the entire week.
Well, not only that, Laura is crumpling up a very costly sheet of paper because she's unable to figure out how to write this down the way she wants to, and she's got it in her fist, and she is lying. Because she says, well, my essay's not about, not like Mary's, because Mary's was all about coming to the prairie and about Pa and all this other stuff.
Pa asked her, what's your essay about? I'd rather keep it a surprise. That's because she never wrote one.
Well,
but let's give her credit. We got to redeem her in this fact. She then grabs Ma and tells her,
right, she does try to say...
I have all these words in my head and I can't put them down on paper.
Right.
I can't do it. Well, she doesn't expect you to be able to do that. And
Well,
then she says, I'm afraid to get up in front of all these kids. What if they laugh at me? They're not going to laugh at you. How do you know
lying. No,
that?
how about this? Lying, because when
Yeah.
she hugs her, you can see it on mom's face that
She's
she
worried.
knows,
I
yes,
hope they don't
she's
laugh at
worried
her.
about them standing up in front of the whole town and getting laughed at for being country girls, because these kids have been trying to tell them the whole time that they're getting made fun of at school.
Right. So, okay, that's great. To come the next day, now we're in school. Okay, and first we hear Willie standing up there talking about how his father's going to get him a pony.
Oh, you skipped a bunch of stuff. I got here. She was promising that she, first of all, Ma promised to keep a secret. Why are we keeping secrets anyway? No secrets.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then she
yeah,
lies
yeah.
that they won't laugh. And then Potts rolls over, finds out she's not there.
that's
Somehow,
right.
with no clocks in the house, knows
Yeah,
it's
that's
midnight.
right. No clocks. It says, hey, why don't you come to bed? It's got to be midnight.
Right.
How do you know
How
that?
do you know what time it is? Then she comes out in the morning, and what does she give them when they were expecting her to debut her new dress, because they had been telling her, complimenting her and everything else about her, that
She
fabric is
comes
going to be
out-
such a beautiful dress.
She comes out with two dresses.
Two dresses. She
One
finally
for
figured
each
it
of
out
them.
that the kids needed clothes
So-
instead of her needing a new dress when she had clothes that were
So,
just fine.
Yay, Ma.
Yay!
You did right
Go,
by the
Ma.
kids.
And then Carrie has her one unintelligible line for the whole episode right around that point where she said she wants her dolly to have a new dress or something like that. Then we have
Oh.
Willie in the new suit that is so big on him, it looks like somebody used a shrink ray. It looks like somebody
Yeah,
put
so-
the clothes on him and then shrunk him
So what's
into
Willie
it.
talking about? Yeah, his father's going to get him a new pony. He's going to buy him a new pony. Now, spoiler alert, we saw this for 9 seasons.
Yes.
That kid never had a pony.
Dude, if he ever had a pony, we never saw that pony. And then Nellie gets up there and talks about how expensive their furniture is. And this poor kid got his hand raised, and they keep ignoring the poor thing and laughing at him. And he's got his hand raised. Now he's like waving it like, like, please. And they keep, now everybody's laughing at him again. And then finally he gets the nod from the teacher to interrupt everybody. But this is all going on while Nellie is giving pretty much a free ad for the mercantile
Right.
and how expensive all their stuff is, which pretty much brings your point of
That brings my
how
point.
much overpriced are their stuff that they're living this high on
You're
the hog
in
in
a
this
poor
place.
farmer community, and you're sitting there saying how expensive your furniture is, and you're dressed the part, and how wealthy you are. Now, if I was one of them, I'd be thinking, wow, I'm getting bilked.
Right?
You people are charging too much. But anyway.
Well, now we get to Laura gets up, she gets called up. She's got her paper in front of her. She looks down at it for about 2 seconds, and then she really does give a beautiful speech
goes
about
on,
Ma
yes.
and all of the stuff that Ma does for them and how hard she works. And she even mentioned she kind of takes the wind out of Mary's sails, because she tells what Mary's going to be talking about before Mary. We don't even get to hear Mary's speed, like the whole thing that she wrote
Right.
down.
But she goes on and she's buttering up Ma so much that we have our first instance of crying.
Why? Because she was trying to squeeze those tears out of her eyes. She was really having a problem too. She had to lower her head, her nose down, so she could dab with the.
She made her out to be a rock star.
She
rock
really,
star.
she really did. I mean, like, they clapped for her
Yep.
very loudly. So, but as Ma is trying to squeeze those tears out of her eyes, and she bends her head down, you can see the plastic clips in her hair. She's got multiple plastic clips at a time before plastic was ever invented, and.
Yeah.
They go outside, they
done.
get out there, and they congratulate Mary. She goes off because Laura's standing off by herself, and she says, that really wasn't an essay. So now, here we go. She complimented you in front of the whole town. What does she do?
She goes over and has to throw her under the bus. You didn't write that, did you?
No, you didn't write an essay.
you
That
did,
was a
yeah.
recitation.
Yeah, you need to go in and talk to Miss Beadle. So it's like, wow, you just tossed your kid under the bus.
I mean,
like,
we could hear it like da-dunk, da-dunk. I mean, like, what? We get it. She didn't exactly do the assignment, but she said a beautiful thing about you. So she takes her by the
Come
hand
on.
and she brings her into the new teacher, and she's going to make her hand over this paper to show
Laura
that she
has
didn't do
wants
the
you to see
assignment.
her paper. Then you look at her paper and it's like Ma cooks, Ma sews.
Yeah, Ma's good.
Yeah,
Ma cooks, Ma
it's
sews.
like 4 or 5 lines. And now credit for the teacher. You know,
Yeah.
she went above and beyond and say how well she's doing, but she needs work on her penmanship.
And her
but-
spelling has improved, and
but
she
we'll
was
get
using
that
much
straightened
bigger
out.
words.
And it's like, wow, you tried to toss her under the bus, and thank goodness the bus swerved out of the way.
You know, really, I mean, it was like, why are you trying to get her into, the teacher
Yeah.
seemed fine with it. Why couldn't you just leave it alone? No, she had to make sure that she had as much trouble as possible. Then they're leaving, and we hear about how Ma's going to put these essays, even the one from Laura, the one that was not really an essay, in her box that she keeps under her bed with everything she loves.
hope chest.
And all I kept thinking was the kids aren't in the box, but whatever. Everything she loves is in this box and under the bed.
Right.
And that's the end of the episode. So we had a lot of lying. We did have some prying in this episode
Yeah,
because
little bit of prying.
you know,
on
Mrs.
there.
Olsen was trying to tell them
Now-
how to do, and we had crying.
Now, I do have to say, and this is a big shout out. We're not trying to diss the show. We're not
We
trying to
love
say
the
it's
show.
a horrible show.
It's
I
just that-
still love this show.
Being an adult and looking back on it, it just hits me different. And
If
like,
you look at it, and really, you know, and you look at these comments and these criticisms, it's more or less to make you laugh. But
we're just trying to we're just laughing about it. But now this is the third episode we've done on Little House on the Prairie.
third one.
And we are releasing these in threes. So if you're listening to this one and you liked it and you want to go and check out the first two, they are all available at the same time. And next week we will have
The 100-Mile Walk.
the 100-Mile Walk. Now we are looking forward to this one because
Oh.
they checked the boxes on this.
Oh,
They
hang
pulled
in
out
there.
all the stops. They hit us with the 1-2 and they give us a pow on another one.
We haven't really been able to talk much about Dyin, but I promise you, stick around. You're going to love the
Stick
next one
around
coming up.
because the title of our podcast, our series over here, is Dyin Cryin and Lyin, and they bring it.
So that'll do it. We'll see you next time around.
This is Two Luckies, the podcast.
The podcast.
We're out. Two Luckies.
The podcast.
Podcast.
Two Luckies.
The podcast.